So in terms of the audit report, we do want it stated that we have one in place and not that one is pending. And he's on the verge of issuing that audit report, so it may be beneficial for us to just go ahead and approve this if you think it's adequate, and then we can alter or present a new one to you if this is not adequate.
I'd like the opportunity to see the other one. I'm sorry, I said I'd like to see, have the opportunity to see the other one before we approve this one.
Now, this is one that did come from him, let me just make sure that that's clear.
Okay.
This was his recommendation prior to the new one he got that he likes better.
So we get this, and you've got an update of this.
But he would like for us to go ahead and approve something and then update it after we look at what he has, unless there's something specific that we don't like about this one. Is that what I'm hearing?
What we're talking about basically is making sure that the audit report in the letter, from the auditor is a clean audit. And the management letter says that we're doing something. If we don't pass something now, then we can't say that. Therefore, it technically shows up as a ding against, kind of like a credit score.
Okay.
It's okay as long as you understand that when we get that audit report, it's going to say, we don't have this. But if you understand that we're attempting to do that and correct that, then that's not something an issue. I just don't want to get held against us for having tried to put something in front that he then suggested that some other jurisdiction.
And we did take the model that was given to us and we tweaked it quite a bit because we just didn't like it. So we didn't like the wording, a lot of it didn't make sense. So we did change a lot of this wording to actually match what we do here and what needs to be looked at in terms of risks and internal controls. So this is definitely beefed up from what we got.
So what you did was take what he suggested and make it fit what we're doing,
Yes.
going by the suggestions that he had from what we were doing.
Yes.
And it may need even more tweaking or whatever or something.
Well, arguably, what we were given, we bettered already. What he's saying is that I've got something even better for you to look at before, so it's really, if we pass it, we can look at the new one and we can send that out the next package. We can compare it all and see what else we need to adopt.
And, this is a long document, so it's not something that we developed from scratch. So, of course, this is going to take some planning meetings when we do budget or just policies and procedures meetings in terms of implementing this, doing risk assessments, looking at the process, and whether it's cash receipts, whether it's payables, looking at all of that. So this is going to take some work to actually implement this. And we're not going to have everything in this policy. We're going to probably be tweaking this quite a bit as we actually go through the process of analyzing all these procedures. So this is not going to be final anyway. It will have to be changed, and of course we did come up with it from scratch, so not everything has been thought of or included. It was a model from another municipality.
A lot of this you already do anyway. It's always what
Oh, yes.
you already do anyway.
Yeah, and that,
Specifically under internal controls for general ledger on page 8, specific controls. I know I'm the only one that asked for this, and it's not on here, but I just want to make sure you keep providing it. The finance officer will complete a budget to actual monthly report for the town council to review, which you do. And I will add the finance officer will produce a monthly check detail register for the council to review. I want to make sure I keep getting that every night. I think I may be the only one that looks at it, me and Alicia, I don't know.
and like I said, we didn't do this from scratch, so it's not going to have even all the controls because it's it takes some time to sit down and think of everything that you do to mitigate some of the internal control risks and so forth.
Some of the language in here is very general. On page 4, town must have sound volunteer policies and practices with well-defined responsibilities for each committee. Management must establish goals for all committees to ensure that they are working towards a common purpose. this, so where are these, goals
Well,
set for?
the second, first part of that, the sound volunteer policies and practices are all committee ordinances that we're working through about the management of established goals. That's when we go through during budget process. You tell us what the goals are that the town is supposed to be trying to reach for the next fiscal year. Those get passed on to the committees and that become their goals for what they're trying to meet in that year. So that's where that's part of that performance management baby steps that we're taking to basically work towards that, where the committees are acting based on the council direction that comes during the budget process. During the budget workshops, you establish what your priorities are. Those get telegraphed to the committees. The committees develop their goals based on those, that they come back around during funding and say, we're trying to meet the town's goals. So that's how all that plays out.
And it's also tied back into the mission statement as well.
I don't know if this is relevant or not, but do we have a hiring policy? Does this include a hire, or
Personnel policy.
we have a personnel policy? But does it include a hiring policy?
In the personnel policy, there are some hiring practices.
Where is it?
Off the top of my head, I don't know where in the personnel policy they have it.
There's probably equals one paragraphs and so forth in there.
I'm talking about a procedure that the town follows
In terms
to
of
hire people.
resume versus an application, so
Yes.
forth and so on.
We don't have something that specific. I mean, the personnel policy establishes the equal employment and, things of that nature, but
General.
a 1 through 5, here are the steps we use, no, we don't at this point have that.
Will we have that?
You got the table of contents for your personnel policy in this. Is that what you looked at, Alicia? when you-
Yeah, but this is something that I had asked about before. I'm talking about advertising for jobs and making it public, things like that. Do we have a policy that addresses that?
But I just said, well,
Okay,
we
so we don't.
don't have a detailed A through F
Okay,
process.
but will we ever have
And
that?
we will have that, yes.
Okay.
So that's all the various things I'm trying to address.
And we still have to make changes to the personnel policy based on the manager to change that.
Yeah, there's still items
So-
in there, so that's part of it.
At some point, and I think we even mentioned an application in that personnel
There is
policy.
an application that's in there.
So that, yeah, we have to use it so that those are some of the changes that can happen, potentially a personnel policy revision time.
So what do you need from us on this tonight? Need anything tonight?
I would recommend that you adopt this tonight with the understanding that we will get additional information that may change this policy either immediately based on what we find, or as we work through the process of putting this all in place, we may also come forward with additional changes. But in order to satisfy the auditor, I request that you do adopt this tonight.
And my recommendation is that we adopt this tonight and then we don't adopt a new one until we actually go through the process, like Michael was talking about, of actually identifying the risks and identifying the controls, because at that point, I think we're gonna think of a lot of things that we want in this one, as well as the other recommended one that he has for us. There may be some things that we want in addition to that one. So I would think that the second round of this would be at that time, once we're going through the process, identifying more items that we want in the policy and using his second guide to develop the final.
Okay, so what you really want is a motion to approve this one with my addition.
Yes.
With my addition, period. That's essentially what you want.
If, unless anybody else has any other suggestions, changes,
And
recommendations,
then later we'll adopt the other one. Okay.
if necessary, exactly.
Well, I'll make a motion that we approve the internal control and risk management policy as presented tonight.